I know everything I went through was to make me stronger. As I grew older, my experience had made me wiser. Yeah, I know God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. I ain't folding 10 toes down, solid like a boulder.
Now that you saw the intro, I must let you know that in today's video, I will be reacting to Fresh and Fit before they were famous. I did say, I think in my second, I'm not sure if it was the Gideon one or the Aber and Preach one, probably even the Kai Cenat reaction, that I said that I was gonna react to Fresh and Fit, cause they before they were famous, because I only know a few things. One, I know that Myron is from Sudan in North Africa. Well, his parents are, my bad. So he's North African because his parents are from Sudan. But he was born and raised in Connecticut. And he was in law enforcement. So that's about it on Myron. Now, Fresh, the only thing that I know about him is that he, outside of the stuff that you see on here on YouTube about him having, like, smashing a bunch of girls. Now, I don't know if that's true because I don't follow dude. I don't really, like, I ain't gonna say I don't follow dude. Like, I don't really watch. I watch clips here and there. I've watched a couple sections, not sections. They have clips of a whole podcast that they have, and I've seen those clips, but I haven't sat in on a whole stream. I've seen the one where Kevin Samuels is on, and he's debating 3 girls. Janina is the name of one. Amanda is the name of the other, and I forgot the other lady's name. Then Abba and Preach, well, just Abba, but Abba was on, and I saw that one, but I haven't really watched much of their content outside of that. But the shorts, they come up like crazy. But anyway, back to Fresh. I don't know much about him, and I think he might not even be from the US. I think he might be from Barbados or something. I don't know. But we're gonna find out more about them, which is why I wanted to react to this. So we're gonna do that right now. So without any further delay, let's press play.
Hold on. Excuse me?
You mean?
I'm not mean at all.
Okay, I don't care.
Have you been here the whole time?
No.
Look, for a whole bunch of men, life isn't always simple. No matter how much we prepare, work hard, or dream of fulfilling our life's goals, which don't always seem to be able to manifest a reality that we desire. But now, 2 men are looking to change all of that completely by taking a simp and turning him into a pimp. Myron Gaines and Walter Weeks, or as they're probably better known to most, the hosts of Fresh and Fit, first came together a few years ago, and now these two have combined their more than 30 years of experience when it comes to dating, finance, and personal growth into creating a life coaching system and accompanying podcast that is tearing up the online market. The only question is, will their continuous beliefs wind up getting them canceled before they can truly establish themselves? If you'd like to find out where these 2 dudes came from and how they've become a lightning rod for controversy, then keep watching our newest episode of Before They Were Famous. The Fresh and Fit podcast first started back in the early stages of 2020, and its original iteration was the brainchild of Myron Gaines, aka Myron Fuddle. As a young man, Myron grew up in New Britain, Connecticut, before moving on and attending Northeastern University in Boston. That's where he earned himself a degree in criminal justice while also performing as a student athlete as a member of the men's rowing roster. As a young adult, he began working with Homeland Investigators as a special agent.
I did criminal investigations. I resigned from the job in 2020. I have nothing bad to say about my former employer. It was a fantastic career, but I had to take a chance and I bet on myself.
According to Myron, he would leave the service in 2020 after his side venture that turned into Fresh and Fit blew up, and he was told by his boss that he couldn't keep doing both. As much as he enjoyed his work for the government, Myron decided to pursue his passion for content creation. creation. On the other side of the coin is Walter Weeks. As a young man, Walter grew up in Barbados and attended Barbados Community College from 2008 to 2010. It was there that he took part in an exchange program that would see him working part-time at a local Ministry of Agriculture, setting up office computers and rectifying any issues that might arise.
Okay, so I know a little bit about Fresh now. So he is from Barbados. Huh, interesting. All right. I didn't know he worked on computers though. I mean, now hearing that and now seeing him, I wonder why he's not in the back. Like, I wonder why he didn't just like become like a tech guy for the podcast. Like, he could have just worked worked with the sound, or maybe they have someone else to do it. But since he did that in Barbados, why didn't he just, I guess they needed a second person to sit on the podcast with, and maybe he volunteered, but I don't know. But that is crazy hearing that he worked on computers in Barbados. He was like, dang, I gotta do something for myself. Kind of like what Myron did when he quit the law enforcement job. But that's interesting. Would have never guessed that he worked on computers and other things like that.
Short years later, Walter was working at the University of West Indies before moving on to Teleperformance USA, where he served in customer service roles for 6 months. Following that stint, he moved on to Team Focus Insurance Group and would stay there until 2017. But throughout his entire life, Walter always imagined himself moving to the US and taking part in his version of the American dream. So he eventually decided to pursue it by moving to Miami, Florida, and taking on a new gig, working as a technical consulting specialist with Wix.com. We all remember Wix, right? It was in Miami that both Walter and Myron became aware of each other while living down the street from one another. In 2019, Myron would cash in on his years of experience in competitive athletics, not to mention his talents as an investigator, by creating his own company known as Unplugged Fitness. Originally, this venture was to focus on Myron as a fitness and life coach specialist, but over the years, it would develop into something much more than that. To supplement this new idea, Myron would often create a ton of content for social media and then post it to platforms like YouTube and Instagram to generate strong word of mouth. He began creating much of his content in early 2020, and it didn't take long for him to reach out to Walter for a guest spot on what was originally titled The Gains Podcast, where they discussed Walter's specialty, approaching women by using social media.
And we are live.
Nicknamed Fresh Prince CEO, Walter had also created a side hustle for himself while in the Miami area, where he would offer dating service for men in desperate need of help on his own YouTube channel. Recognizing that they were both on very similar paths and the content they were creating would develop and generate even more impressive metrics, Myron and Walter decided to officially team up. In the summer of 2020, they released the first episode of their Fresh and Fit podcast and have been at it ever since, tackling subjects like how to improve any man's online dating success in 5 easy steps.
We're in like one of the hardest cities in the United States to deal with women, man. And, we're going to share our W's with you guys. We're definitely going to share our L's too.
We're in the streets right now.
Yesterday, actually.
Outside of the podcast, both men also fleshed out their own life coach services by constructing their own websites and promising to totally remake the life of anyone who was willing to take them up on their abilities. Whether it's building muscle, burning fat, increasing strength, or working on Myron's specialty, improving that rowing speed, the dudes over at Fresh and Fit believe that they are a one-stop shop when it comes to providing the type of help that all men could benefit from having. They told AP News about their services by saying, "We respond in real time to live questions on our live programs, make video requests to Patreons, and consult clients in groups or individually. The foundation of the business is based on improving men's lives and becoming the best versions of themselves as they navigate the current marketplace." I'll tell you what, it's always a red flag if men are referring to the dating pool as a marketplace, but hey, don't use that.
Why are you laughing for? What, Chris, why are you laughing for? Why are you laughing for? I'm being serious.
According to both men, their clientele includes some very high-profile individuals, and while they're not willing to name names, the list is said to be made up of celebrities, YouTube stars, and other social media influencers. And yet, perhaps not everything is perfect in the world of Fresh and Fit, because as you may have noticed, and while we were talking a lot about how men view Myron and Walter, women seem to have a completely different opinion on them altogether. Not too long into their new careers as podcaster, Myron Gaines took to social media to share his thoughts on how a man should properly respond to a woman who backs out on a scheduled date. In short, his recommendation was to punish the girl so as to not reward her negative or undesirable behavior.
So if a girl flakes on you on a first date, done. Now, I know what you guys are gonna say.
Myron, what if she comes back? She texts me.
You know what you do? You basically tell her, hey, you call her out on it. Hey, you flaked last time. I don't know if I want to hang out with you again.
Needless to say, many women in turn looked upon Myron's advice as equally.
I am aware. This is crazy. I'll be honest with y'all. I've never actually been on a date, which is crazy. But I've dated girls in the past. But this was like middle school to high school when I was dating girls. I haven't actually starting in middle school. The last girl I dated was around 22, 23. So around 7 to 8 years ago was my last girlfriend. But all the relationships that I was in throughout that time, all of them were at least a month, like a month tops. I don't know what the heck I was doing back then, but to hear, and throughout life, I've also heard about girls flaking on dates for whatever reason, whether something actually happened, which if the girl has something going on and they don't tell the guy beforehand, and like doing that'll make the dude assume that you're ready to go on a date. But then you flake them for whatever reason, and you don't tell, at least you don't tell them like before the date starts or why you flaked. I think that's probably the reason why he's saying don't, like, just ignore the girl. That's just my thought, because it's crazy for you to agree to go on a date with someone and then the day of you flake. Now I've heard some girls say that they saw the dude and the dude wasn't what they pictured in their brain, so it's like, nah, I ain't gonna mess with it. So for petty stuff like that, but at least give them the heads up prior to the date that you can't make it. But I see where he's coming from, though. Let me get back into the video.
Undesirable, and while that little clip wound up earning him a whole lot of hate, it was a drop in the bucket compared to what recently happened with singer Asian Doll. So in case you missed it, a few weeks ago Asian Doll wound up on an episode of Fresh and Fit as their guest, and everything seemed to be proceeding more or less as usual until Asian Doll became upset after Myron scolded her and her friends for taking part in a side conversation while they were still recording.
Guys, sidebar conversations, please.
All right. What about
I've told you, this is like, this is like the fifth time I've told you that, right?
Sixth time.
Like, stop.
Hey, mean.
When Asian Doll responded by calling Myron mean, it only ticked them off even further. Then a verbal back and forth kicked off between both parties that resulted in Asian Doll exclaiming that she can say whatever the hell she wanted to, and at that point Myron told her that she could leave, and she did. Once this story began making the rounds, social media users that were angered by Myron's treatment of Asian Doll unearthed some other past remarks that he had made where he had discussed the fact that he doesn't particularly find black women attractive. And at that point, things went from bad to worse. Rather than apologize for what he had said, Myron doubled down, releasing the following statement.
When it comes to dating and your personal preferences, no one bats an eye. When women say I want a man that's 6 feet tall, makes a certain amount of money, blah, 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 those are considered preferences. But if I say, hey, man, I don't date black girls like that. Oh, God!
You hate black women.
How dare you?
What a wild statement. And while Myron's counter argument had some people nodding their heads, it sure didn't do much to sway fellow podcaster Joe Budden, who took to social media to say this about both Myron and Walter. I don't know these two doofs, but they don't get to do this. Too ignorant, inexperienced, insecure, fragile, and weak for this stale gimmick to not be seen through. Black women are everything, especially beautiful. Those are certainly strong words from a man whose reputation precedes him, like especially in the realm of black women in podcasting. Like, do you know how badly you fucked up if Joe Budden is out here denouncing you? Like,
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, that's crazy. Cause you will be, because I'm pretty sure Myron is perceived as a black man in America, man. Although you're from North Africa, you're still, like, the way you look, you're gonna be called out as a black man, bro. So to say that about your own people would be insane. Hey, if that's his preference, then shoot. Let him, like, I don't know if he was really, because I remember him saying something about not dating Shaniquas. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Why the names? Like, I get it. There's probably girls in other, like, racial groups that could have that name. But to refer to black women as Shaniquas and all that stuff, I'm like, bruh, what is this? This was my reaction when I first heard this. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Maybe it's like he also said in one of the clips, it's an old clip, he said, we don't Fresh and I don't dabble in the dark. I'm like, huh? I'm like, I was left scratching my head. Like, what, huh? You don't dabble in the dark? That's messed up, man. It is. That was tough to hear when I heard that. I was like, dang, man. Really? But anyway, I'm going to get back to the video. I noticed that my camera is blue. I don't know why. I might have to check that out later. Maybe it's the light. No, can't be the light. Well, I guess my screen will just be blue. I don't know why it's blue. But anyway, let's get back to the video. But that was crazy for him. That was crazy. I was like, what the hell? Why? It's so weird. It's so crazy for you to say that. But again, if it's his preference, we'll just let him have it. But for black people to hear that and see a black man on the screen is insane, dude.
Imagine if, like, Travis Scott was out here saying your concert was really bad and unsafe. I don't know. It's kind of not a good look, but who am I? But will it be enough to sway the general consensus on the host behind Fresh and Fit? Well, that story remains to be written. After all, this is before they were famous. Please don't forget to let us know your thoughts on the come up of Fresh and Fit down below. My name is Clyde, and I'll see you guys in another video.
Side talk. Oh my God. Before they were famous. Oh hell yeah, I gotta watch that. I definitely do. And Mr. Beast? Yo, I'm interested in knowing how Mr. Beast got his start. Very interesting. Because I don't know much about his content. I've only heard that he's one of the richest YouTubers on this platform. So I'm curious. Matter of fact, I'm gonna react to Mr. Beast next. So right after this video, I'm gonna react to Before They Were Famous, the Mr. Beast episode, and then next week, if not next week, the week after, I'll do the side talk video, because I'm still curious about how this man got his start. So with that said, I'm gonna leave the video here. Before I go, I want to say a few things. Continue spreading peace, love, and positivity, because life is too short for any and all negativity. And always remember, slow progress is better than no progress. I will see you guys in the next video. With that said, Dante Brown is out.
on everything. Commas and diamonds all up in my chain. Down at the bottom, came up in the game. Bottles and models all up in my face. Commas and diamonds all up in my chain. Dollar by dollar on everything.